3, 2, 1, blast off! We're here.
We are here. Welcome to Boxcast. It's episode 4 of the internet's best loved boxing podcast by three dads in Surrey with chicken wings, Corona beer, and Joel, who's back from Lisbon, everybody!
Hooray! How was training camp?
I put a stone on, I reckon. Smashed up the food and the drinks.
Good boy.
Excellent. So you had a good time?
Lovely.
Yeah, tell us about, just quickly before we get into the boxing for this week, Tell us your favourite 3 things about Lisbon and Portugal.
They do a lovely little vanilla custard tart, which I must have tried everywhere. Probably 2 or 3 a day.
Well, that's a nata.
No, that's not
pastel de nata.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
I don't speak Portuguese or Spanish or anything. So
anything?
Or anything, yeah. I'm pretty much a one lingo man. And I get that wrong most of the times. The Moorish castle at Sintra, very, very good. Very good.
And what was good about that castle?
Well, I'm not very good with heights, and it's very, very high. And
that's what makes it good.
Well, I try to conquer my fears, but once you get up there, it's very rewarding.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
and
very good.
And the third thing?
Third one, food was fantastic.
Was it? Best meal you had in Portugal?
Pig cheeks, garlic.
Right,
garlic. That's just you. Garlic, chorizo, mash. And are we a boxing podcast or a food
I think we should turn into a foodie.
Do you know, the more people that are listening to us just want to get to know you a little bit more.
Pig cheeks, sardines, all sorts of fish.
He's just a hungry man.
Steak.
He is, yeah.
Yep, I smashed it all.
Excellent. Well, welcome back. It's nice to have you back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're here to talk about the last 7 days in boxing. So last week we talked about the fallout of Tyson Fury and Wilder 2. In that time, actually quite a lot has happened within 7 days.
A lot.
First thing, let's talk about the rematch clause that now has been re-triggered. And that's been triggered by Deontay Wilder. It was triggered kind of softly, then it was hardly triggered at the weekend, and then a video came out which Deontay declared to the world that he's their king.
Hello, my people. My Bomb Squad Army, my Bomb Squad Nation, to all my loved ones around the world. I just want to let you know that I am here. Your king is here.
But he said that he's going to regain the belt.
Can you just whisper it like he did it as well? Because
I am the king. I'm my followers, man. I don't know. No,
that's the mafia voice, isn't it? It's Marlon Brando in The Godfather.
King, yeah.
I want to welcome you to the
All
family.
my followers.
Yeah, carry on.
I mean,
Carry on. You're still talking about food.
Yeah, it's food. What do we take from that? I mean, obviously there's going to be a third fight, and we talked about this before in a couple of the podcasts previous, that he really has no choice but to exercise his right for this fight, because if he doesn't, the road back to try and regain some of those bouts is going to be incredibly difficult. Al Heyman's just not going to have the power to be in there with Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren and Bob Arum. He'll have to go back to fighting, I don't know, the Dominic Brazils of this world and try and rise to the top, and it's going to be pretty difficult. So
it's a long way back.
It is, yeah.
If he doesn't, well,
so he's got to take it, right? He's got to take it.
Definitely.
If he loses, well, firstly, is he going to lose?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to lose, isn't he? Yeah. Yeah, I have watched
the fight. Well, you were both wrong last time.
Yeah, we were, yeah. I did watch the fight back a couple of nights ago, and I did notice that Deontay Wilder did have something wrong with his right leg very early on in the fight. It looked like he couldn't really plant that right. Now, I don't think that was anything to do with costume. I reckon there was probably something in camp. But I don't think that anything, him having a better right leg, a functioning right leg, is going to get him out of trouble with Fury.
But would you use the outfit as an excuse, or just
turn
around and say, actually, I had a virus, or my legs weren't right, I had an injury? I don't know. That is embarrassing.
I think that's what he should have done.
He should have done,
if he'd have turned around and you got to hand it to him when he got beat AJ. He just turned around and said the better man won on the night.
Yeah,
and there was no excuses. He wasn't good enough that night. And I think Wilder should have done the same thing. The good thing is the rematch is on my birthday weekend.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Are we going to be in the garden?
We're going to go to Vegas.
We're going to Vegas.
On Smudge, apparently.
Excellent. All right.
Let's go.
Yeah.
We need to move on before it all kicks off again. We need to talk about other things that go on.
Yeah.
In
So
boxing.
that's what, July the 18th, they reckon.
Is that what it is?
MGM Grand, apparently. Let's go.
Not the Raiders
go.
Stadium. That you
No,
said.
I
no,
thought,
well,
I thought it was going to be the
No,
stadium.
I think it's going to be in the
I thought it was going to be a new purpose-built arena, 65,000 people.
Well, that's only what I've read this week
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
where'd you read that?
on Tinternet, so it must be true.
Internet. Okay, so let's move on to what's happened in the last 7 days, apart from Tyson Fury and Wilder. The first thing is there's a brand new broadcaster in town. Joel's going to tell us
Coming soon.
all about that. Joel.
Yeah. Why have
What?
something you can't pronounce properly? To me, it's DAZN. DAZN. It's not funny. I've been saying DAZN all along. Now he's having a coughing fit. DAZOON.
Sorry,
No, DAZOON.
Is that how you pronounce it? DAZOON?
DAZOON, yeah.
So why is it DAZOON or something?
I don't know. I don't know why they didn't put the double
I
O
don't
in.
understand either.
I don't know.
There you go. You've had a good old giggle about me saying that.
No, that's right. It's right.
Yeah,
DAZOON is
Great name
All right,
for
that's
it.
enough. I'm going to book a plane now and go and fly somewhere.
okay. So
You won't be able to.
no.
They've all gone skint.
So DAZN, DAZN,
DAZN.
That's
is
it.
coming to the UK.
Right, got it.
So Eddie Hearn's got a massive deal with DAZN in the States and also in another couple of territories. I think it's
Here?
Spain. Well, yeah, let's talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
Spain and maybe some Italian rights go out there as well. I could be getting that wrong, but
I think it went out in
Matchroom do.
Germany first, I think, and
What's that?
Germany and Austria went out first.
Yeah, I think DAZN have.
Yeah.
They're all over the world. I think they're in Canada as well.
Well, they're massive in Canada. They've got all the football rights in Canada, haven't they?
Have they?
All the UK, pretty much the Europa League. They've got Premier, I think. They've tied up.
So the rumor is that Billy Joe is fighting him on that date on DAZN UK,
Correct. Which hasn't been launched yet.
which hasn't been launched yet. It's going to be £4.99 a month, which is incredible value.
Cheap.
But that does mean that we then have Sky Sports at 30 quid a month or something.
I'll get it all in a package. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's about 30 quid, I think, if you break it down. And then you've got BT Sport, which is
A lot.
a lot as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Box Nation, no one really subscribes to anymore, right? You get
Well,
BT
you get the odd
Sport, right?
fight, yeah, but
And then you've got all the pay-per-views. So you've got ITV box office, you've got BT Sports box office, Sky Sports box office.
Yeah.
And DAZN is going to come in much cheaper than any of them. So firstly, how realistic is it going to be that Eddie Hearn moves from Sky Sports to DAZN in the UK because he got nearly $1 billion to play
allegedly it
with,
was $1 billion.
to play with in the States with the launch of boxing over there.
And it wasn't even that many fights, was it? 16 fight deal? Something like 16 show deal?
I don't know. So I thought it was like a 3-year deal or something that he had over there.
I think he's
But
got to put 16 on there and 16 on here.
and it's a pretty, this is a pretty contentious issue because if we know nothing about it, we're just completely outsiders talking about what potentially could happen on this, and he only those people know exactly what's going on. But you've got to say that Sky Sports have to be worried about DAZN coming into the UK market.
Actually, it could just be an add-on to the way we watch everything nowadays. I mean, I have Virgin Media, so I get BT Sports thrown in. I pay for the Sky Sports, and it's.
But how many add-ons can you have?
That's the problem, isn't it?
We were chatting just before we started here, right? How many fights we got coming up in the next couple of months? And if they're all pay-per-view,
Yeah, that's the point. And DAZN come along, £4.99. If they secure someone like Eddie Hearn, so firstly, it could be Matchroom. It could be Frank Warren moving across from BT, though they've cemented a pretty good relationship over the last couple of years with BT. But it wouldn't surprise me that if they moved across, they would have a good stable of fighters and Fury on DAZN UK. Anthony Joshua, by the way, he signed to DAZN US, but Sky Sports in the UK. So that I know this is going to be a separate channel, separate kind of.
yeah, but there's going to be a little bit of cross-contamination or whatever you want to call it.
So let's do a quick straw poll now. Would you get rid of Sky Sports completely if DAZN had the best boxing?
Well, you couldn't because
Does
we all love
football-
other sports.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and the problem is, as you know, I'm an egg chaser. I love the rugby, which mostly is on BT Sports now. So I'm not the biggest football fan, which is mostly on Sky. So where do you go?
So DAZN come along, they buy the boxing, they get some of the Premiership football rights, and they get the rugby. Where'd you go?
Well, I think you follow your sport, really.
So you nip across to DAZN and pay $4.99.
Yeah. If that's what you want to watch.
Yeah.
Could you pick and choose that, do you think? I mean, some
What's
of these...
that? No, DAZN is one.
No. What I meant was you could just say, look, for this month I'm going to pay it. So you pay a one-off monthly fee to get the month's boxing.
I think
or do you have to sign up for a 12-month contract?
No, with DAZN you can break the contract. You can you can go in for a month, but I don't know if you can.
But there's no free trial or anything with DAZN.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Is there?
The first month's free.
I don't know. It wasn't in the States.
It was. Yeah.
So it's kind of like Netflix and things like that people look at films.
Yeah.
And they're paying I think
if it's
£8.99
that money, if it's going to come over and start that cheap, it's affordable, isn't it? It's a pint, you know. And people think, well, I can just tap it on the end. It's just another thing. I think it's quite strange that it's hit the UK as late as it has, if you like. Bearing in mind how much revenue the UK makes on sport, you know what I mean, on streaming or on live sport. You know, there's so much sport comes out of the UK, and it's like big, seems to be big everywhere else. I think it's come to the UK quite late. Was it over 200? 200 regions
and territories, yeah. They
something like that. And so it's already got like something like 8 million worldwide subscribers. So it's big before it's even got here.
Maybe it's something to do with we're notoriously expensive for rights, aren't we?
Yeah, it could be.
So it might be something that they've been building up in other territories to get to this territory where they now have the money to be able to do some stuff with.
How would it work in pubs and clubs?
They'll probably do the same thing like they do with Sky, wouldn't they? There'd just be a license.
You have to do a license in there.
It'd just be more money.
Yeah.
Something
Okay,
like
so that first fight on DAZN drops. It's Canelo and Billy Joe. What do we think about the realism and the reality of that fight actually being signed now? Because we're hearing quite a lot about it. We're thinking now that Smith is out of the picture.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on the Canelo Billy Joe Saunders situation?
I'd love to see it, for starters. Bit of talking going on from Billy Joe. You know, if you don't take the deal now, then he's going to
told him, hasn't he? Yeah. I think he used a little bit fruitier language.
Did he?
Yeah.
Of course.
I bet he did.
But I would love to see it. That's a really, really good fight between two good fighters. I was just looking at some of the people he's beaten. I mean, he's fantastic. Billy Joe, obviously, he's beaten some names, but nowhere near what Canelo's done. But if that comes across, then we're really going to see what Billy Joe's made of. I think that'll be a super fight.
So over the last 7 days, that's been getting, lit. It's starting to look like it's a real possible fight that's going to go ahead.
I think that'll gain momentum and get made.
But the other fights that have been announced, really interesting. Let's start with the Anthony Yard fight. Have you seen this?
Yep.
Against Lyndon Arthur.
Lyndon Arthur. Yeah.
Now, this looks like a really interesting fight.
Yeah.
Because Lyndon Arthur is unbeaten.
Yep, 16.
16-0.
Yep.
And looks like a pretty decent fighter. I mean, you're looking at people like Sam Jones and Dave Caldwell and loads of people online. They're saying this one could go under the radar.
They're both big punchers.
Yep.
Both high percentage on knockouts. Lyndon Arthur's not really as a name.
He's not a name at all.
Yeah. No. Come out of nowhere.
I think this is a massive worry for Yard, isn't it?
It could be. I mean, obviously Yard's fought
Kovalev. Yeah.
DAZOON. So it's another moment they come in. But obviously he's got a massively high knockout percentage. But potentially
it's a banana skin, this one.
It could be, yeah.
And if he loses this,
yep.
I think everything's gone out the window for Yard. I mean, they must know something. They can't stick him in with somebody that's got a record of 16-0, right?
Yeah.
And being a puncher with 12, what's that in a percentage? That's got to be up there like 70%, isn't it?
75%. I've already checked it. Yeah.
Okay, so 75%. You've got to know something. You've got to know that you've definitely got a chance against this guy. You're probably going to beat him because he's got so many big fights afterwards. Joshua Boazzi, another huge fight at light heavy somewhere with another potential Kovalev sort of person out there. So that one's an interesting one. I'm looking forward to seeing that, and that's on the card
Same
with
card,
Dubois and Joyce. Yeah.
April the 11th at the O2.
Yeah, it looks like a
Tickets
good
are
one.
still available. The bookies fancy Yard, just so you know.
They've got to.
But all the money, more money at the moment, is on Lyndon Arthur. So
What's the odds on that?
Well, he's 10-3. So he's 10-3 on.
So
10 to
every
3.
£3 you get 10 quid back.
No, every 10 quid you get 3 quid back.
Okay, the other way around.
Yeah,
Okay.
10-3.
Yeah, I don't know the odds either.
Yeah, it's very scary, isn't it? Okay.
So yeah, but on the early polls on Odds Checker, as we like to use, there's over 20. It scans over 20 bookies, and in the early polls, most of the money is going on Lyndon Arthur to win.
They're both evenly matched, though. Both the same age. Lyndon Arthur's slightly taller. Both orthodox. This is going to be one of those sort of fights that people could look at it and it can go either way. It could call a draw, but it could also go either way where they could knock one of them out. So it's going to be a really good tough fight. I think Lyndon Arthur should grab that fight with both hands.
Definitely.
Because if he wins this fight, then it opens up doors and he could be,
Well, it'll put his name
one of the main
out
men.
there a bit more, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely. So this week as well, there was a press conference for Quigg and Carroll, who fight this Saturday in Manchester.
Yep. That's not really had that much attention,
No,
and
it's
it's
gone
not
quiet, isn't it?
Yeah, and the seats apparently they're sort of saying you can buy tickets quite easily.
Well, is anybody going out? This is the problem. I mean, I know we're drinking it, but there's a big virus.
Yeah,
out
we
there.
are drinking Corona Extra just to help Corona Beer have some more money because they lost 130 million off of the top of their revenue just because of this coronavirus thing, which has nothing to do with beer.
No.
So that's why we're drinking.
We're
one.
going to report
Boys,
each week
come on,
to prove
come on.
it.
Chink 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 chink. Come on,
Cheers, boys.
come on. Lovely.
That's it. See.
Happy Corona Day.
No lime though.
No lime. Sorry about that. So Quigg and Carroll, I think, you're absolutely right, gone under the radar. There was a lot of talk about it at the start because Carroll's that sort of loudmouth sort of character that is trying to goad Quigg but Quigg is a quiet, unassuming sort of guy, isn't he?
It wasn't on the when they faced off earlier. All the audio was clearly they're both giving each other plenty of jip on that.
Oh, really?
Yep.
When they're doing a face-to-face?
Yep.
Okay, but you can't see Carroll winning this, right?
Carroll won't go down without a fight. He's definitely a tough guy, but if you're looking at it, it's pretty evenly matched. I would say I'd give it to Quigg, but evenly it could be a draw. But I'm going to slightly go edge towards Quigg.
You're edging to. Hold on one second. You're edging towards Quigg.
Yep.
That's a Quigg win for Joel. Smudge, who are you going for?
I'll go for Quigg.
You're gonna go for Quigg.
Bookie's favourite, yeah.
Lovely, and I'm gonna go for Quigg. I mean, to be totally honest, there's been no one that Carroll's fought that's in the same sort of league as Quigg's opponents, and I think Quigg's a really good boxer, and he's got an incredible cardio. So I think he's going to be
super featherweight. You're going to go the rounds. And
Got the engine, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. So on that same press conference this week was a double press conference because there was the announcement that Dillian Whyte is back in the frame. He obviously isn't going to be fighting Fury for the WBC, even though he's been mandatory for the last couple of years. That's going to be tied up for a little bit, isn't it? Let's face it.
I think so. A little bit of work to do there.
He can't fight Anthony Joshua because of that being tied up as well. He can't fight Wilder because he's fighting Fury. So the best person outside of that, I would have said, was Andy Ruiz Jr., but he apparently turned it down. Mm-hmm. How much you believe that, I don't know. I think Andy Ruiz Jr. probably would have gone for that.
Well,
wouldn't he?
Well, probably. You'd have thought he wanted to get back in the ring.
get back in shape.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just get himself and keep his name up there and get himself in the mix, really, again.
But the best person they've got, apart from him, is Alexander Povetkin. Discuss.
Well, they both of them have lost to AJ. Povetkin's been in with a load more people that I would say are bigger names. He's lost to Klitschko.
It's only two losses,
that's the only
isn't
two
it?
losses, yeah. But
Well, then White's only loss is AJ,
he's coming
which
up
was
for
years ago.
He's coming up for 40 years of age, though. Is this kind
He
of
is
like
40, I think, already.
Yeah,
he's
is this
40,
kind of like the last
hurrah.
hurrah? Yeah.
Is this his, I'll just do one last job?
But this is a hooker versus a hooker. So these are two potentially devastating punchers facing each other where they're going to come forward. There's no look in this fight. Let's face it. there's no way that one of them is going to be like Tyson Fury and fight on the back foot.
No.
And the other person is going to go forward maybe, and the other person is going to go back because they're going to cower. They're going to come head to head in that middle of the ring, and they're going to fight, right?
Styles are similar, yeah.
Slugfest.
Yeah, I think it really is going to be a slugfest, and I think it might not last that long, really, because when Alexander Povetkin, okay, I'm going to say the words David Price,
I knew you were going to say that.
right? But when he hits David Price,
Yep.
over, right? When he's hit AJ in the first round, that was worrying.
Yeah, he shook him.
He definitely shook him. So if he's got that sort of power, I think he's got the pedigree, the experience, and the power to do that to Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte, though, I know that you're a big fan of,
Yep.
has definitely improved over time, hasn't
Definitely, yeah. I think, but going back to Povetkin, if you look at him, he got caught by Price early in that
he
fight,
did,
didn't he?
yeah.
And he could have gone. I mean, I think that was the one where he hit him and Povetkin wobbled right back to the corner. I mean, he looked out, but he managed to come back. So recovery is good, but both of them are going to be swinging at each other. I still fancy White on that one.
And do you think a stoppage?
Or is he going to knock him out?
I would say if it's a stoppage, it'll be a late stoppage. I don't think it's going to be over that quickly. I think they're both big, tough men.
So 8 to 10 rounds, maybe?
Yeah,
bet?
I would
8
say
to
7 to 9.
7 to 9, just to be awkward.
Just to be awkward.
I thought you would.
Yeah.
So what are the odds on that, Smudge, then? So White Povetkin, which is going to be May, isn't it? May the 20-something.
Yeah, he's in May, isn't it? Yeah, May, yeah, it is. Sorry, May the 2nd.
No, that's not May the 2nd.
No, that's the other one.
That's
isn't
Billy Joe.
Oh, he's got his notes muddled up.
2nd of May in Manchester.
So it's the same night as Canelo and Billy Joe.
That's what it says here. Sky Sports are advertising it. Saturday the 2nd of May at 7 o'clock. Program
Excellent.
starts.
Okay, cool.
Is
That's
that
gonna
right?
that's gonna be a big night then.
Big night in.
Yeah,
Get the Dominoes.
yeah. We'll be flicking between
There are
Sky
other
Sports,
pizza places available.
DAZOON. Going to be all over the place, aren't we?
I'm up for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what do you want to know?
7 to 9.
7 to 9 is
White.
around 16, 17 to 1.
For who? Povetkin.
No,
For White.
For White.
Yeah, to stop him in those rounds.
Okay. Any other business that we got discussing for the last 7 days?
Well, we're talking about Joshua Pulev.
Oh yeah. Now that's worrying.
He's
isn't
the
it?
forgotten man. Look, you said that Dillian Whyte was forgotten.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not a fight that I'm interested in. Isn't that weird?
But you need to be. I know you're not now. It's a few months off.
Yeah, I know. And at Tottenham Stadium.
62,000. Will that sell out? If it's even on. This is the other thing we've got to deal with.
Absolutely. So this is with the whole coronavirus thing happening around the world at the moment.
Corona, not Corona beer.
Not Corona
Cheers,
beer.
boys.
Oh, cheers. Oh,
Yeah.
Lovely. That could be called off. And if that's called off, they've got to have some...
A lot of these fights could be called off.
Hold a minute. Here's an interesting one. It could be called off as an event where loads of people go in, but it might not be called off if there's no audience.
What, just watch it on
Just
the
to
telly?
watch it on the telly. Would you do that?
Well, we'd probably watch it on the telly anyway. So.
Yeah, I know, but there'd be no atmosphere.
No.
At all.
They're talking about football now, so
Yeah,
why
but
not do it?
really weird though with a boxing match though, wouldn't it?
You'd hear everything, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would hear everything.
That'd be like a Rocky movie.
Yeah. So it's really interesting that for me the Pulev fight has really gone under the radar. I mean, I'm not interested. I'm now Tyson Fury fan, 100%, and I can only really get excited if Joshua does face Fury.
Would you'd not be as excited if Pulev faces
Faces who?
Fury?
No.
No.
Just
No.
It's not a bigger fight.
what-
Not as
what-
big a fight, is
No,
it?
no.
If
But
Pulev
what
goes through Joshua.
what if there's another banana skin?
Oh,
AJ loses.
Yeah, no,
That's what I just
absolutely,
said.
yeah.
Pulev's record's good. If anything, probably better than AJ's. Both knockout artists.
Do you think it's a possibility that he could lose?
Yeah, Bob Arum thinks he will.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not an AJ fan, but I've said in the past I've kind of looked at the way he fights. To me, a little bit predictable. and everyone uses the word one-dimensional, but obviously he's changed that the way he fought Ruiz in the second
But
fight.
he came in a lot lighter in that fight, didn't it? It was a totally different Joshua.
Yeah.
But some heavyweight boxers you watch, and this may sound stupid when I say this, but some boxers can take punches. No one likes to get hit, but when you watch the fight or watch the fights of AJ, he's had a few fights where he's really winced. I know you can say, well, he broke his nose when Takam caught him with a head.
But he hung on in there with Klitschko, didn't he? He took a few whacks
yeah, he
in there.
did. But I just think that some of these other fighters that are out there, and I'm not saying that Dillian Whyte is better than him, but certainly when he first fought him, he's not as good as he is now with the backing and the training. But, you know, Dillian Whyte and Derek Chisora, I mean, hammered each other for the two fights they had.
Wasn't it? They were
Absolutely.
mega fights.
And I just think that, you know, it's coming up against someone who likes to brawl. I mean, people are going to say again that AJ, when he fought Ruiz, it was a masterclass. He kept on his back foot. He jabbed him and scored points, and he won that way. And that was, everyone said, yes, brilliant.
Well, if you hear what Frank Warren says about that, he says, well, he did what he had to do to win
Exactly.
that, but
It wasn't that exciting.
no, it wasn't at all.
So, you know, the hype with him, and AJ's a great guy. He's a great ambassador for the sport. He's very presentable. He's great on
He's
TV
the
and
consummate
media.
professional.
But, you know, now we've seen what Tyson Fury has done. And even with Deontay Wilder, they're really selling fights. They're real big characters. I mean, we joked earlier about names, the Bronze Bomber and the Gypsy King.
Yeah.
AJ's AJ. You know,
Yeah.
where's that bit of spark and fire with him?
Yeah.
You know, I
You've
want to
got
see him.
AJ against the Bulgarian Bruiser.
But I want to see him. I want to see, you know, that's a great one, Smudge. I like that one. You've been thinking that.
Pulled that
But
out of the bag,
I'd like to see him. I'd love to see him go in, and you know, yes, he's fought guys and knocked them out, but they haven't been great. Some of the guys he's fought to knock out, and when he's come across better opponents, you've seen more of a struggle. And don't get me wrong, take anything away from him.
Joseph Parker.
Yep. But this guy, I'd like to see AJ really mix it up and have a proper ding dong. This could be the fight. This could be the one that you
test.
see.
This is the
This
test,
is a
though.
great test. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. And, you know, this could go either way again. I mean, we're talking about either way on boxing. I mean, I wouldn't want to put money on this one, but I'm sure the bookie's favourite's AJ.
Yeah,
but,
got to be AJ,
by a
right?
stretch.
Yeah.
but
So what can we get on Pulev for a
Well, the
knockout?
best you could get, just to win,
Just to win, yeah.
is, well, the best they're showing at the moment on Oddschecker is 36-5, which is about 7-1.
what
There or
about if you pick the
thereabouts.
rounds? Like I say, two late round win to Pulev, 7-9 again. What sort of odds are we looking on that?
Give us a minute.
I just mentioned Joseph Parker, actually. He had a really good win at the weekend.
That was a good fight.
Very good fight, yeah. Fifth round knockout.
Yeah.
Looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
He's back. He's cleared up that spider bite. And he's...
Spidey powers
Yeah,
now.
exactly, yeah.
Well, I actually quite like him, Parker. But I think when he had that fight with Joshua, it was probably the most boring fight he had.
Yeah, but why? Why was it?
Because they still respected him, the fear of his big punches again.
Who?
Parker.
Joshua's.
Yeah, but Joshua didn't fight brilliantly on that as well. I think he respected Parker a lot as well.
probably,
yeah. And I think this is what you're saying about this Pulev fight as well.
yeah.
There could be a bit of that in there.
Yeah. Who would you like to see Parker fight next then?
I would have liked to have seen him fight Usyk or Michael Hunter, but obviously Derek Chisora's fighting Usyk.
Yep. Did he mention, it was the spider bite one that put him off of Derek Chisora?
Derek Chisora, yeah.
Yeah. I think he needs a fight like that. I mean, Usyk is named up there in the rankings, but
But he hasn't fought anybody in heavyweight.
no,
yeah, you're
and I
absolutely
really,
right,
I mean, I like him. You know, I like him a lot, but I can't see how he can be up there as a mandatory challenger or in the top 4 or 5 of the belts to face off with someone. Surely he can't just go in there and take a deep breath and jump in the deep end with one of these guys. He's got to fight someone first. I mean, he could fight Parker. That could be a good fight, like you say. To look at
Okay,
that.
well, that really sums it up for the last 7 days. Lots happening in the world boxing scene. A lot happening at heavyweight. We didn't talk about the fact that Mikey Garcia had a good win at the weekend. And there's just so much great stuff. Gervonta Davis, he's got a fight coming up as well with Leo Santa Cruz, which looks a fantastic fight. But let's face it, the only one that we want to see with Gervonta Davis is Devin Haney. Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis is going to be a corker of a fight, but that isn't going to be until down the road. So we've got another 7 days until our next Boxcast. what is going to happen, boys.
Who knows? I want to know what's going to happen with DAZOON.
DAZOON?
Sorry, DAZOON.
DAZN.
I'm
Oh, DAZOON.
there it is.
Yeah, exactly.
There's your hook. Record that. Send that to Eddie.
Well, listen, it's going to be an exciting next 7 days anyway. So, boys, I'll see you back here in 7 days.
And I want to know whether or not we're going to Vegas.
If
We'll
you're
let you know
paying,
next
we're on.
week.
I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in.
I've got the green card.
Have you?
Yeah.
Does that mean you're going to stay there and do work?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Right, good.
He's going to live there.
Thanks ever so much for listening to Boxcast. We're going to go off, just chink our beers, eat our chicken wings, and have a really good time. We'll see you in about 7 days.
Happy days.
Wherever you download your podcast, and make sure you leave us a review, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts as well, and keep supporting us. You can find us on Twitter @BoxingDads. Have a great week.
Good night.
See ya.